Hello and welcome to House of Amigurumi. Today we are going to be crocheting this little cute crochet frog with its little smile and heart cheeks. But before we start the video, can you please like this video and subscribe to my channel if you want more crochet patterns in the future. Anyways, let's get started. So first we will need green wool for the body and white wool for the belly. We're gonna need a crochet hook. I'm using a 3mm one, and we're gonna need some safety eyes for the eyes and some black yarn to make the little mouth. And I'm using a bit of felt just to make the cute little heart cheeks, but that is optional. And finally, a stitch marker will be very useful if you want to keep track of where you are going without counting. So to start, we are going to make the body, and to make the body, we always start with a magic circle. So we're going to do 6 single crochets in the magic circle. Now we're going to pull on that tail of the magic circle to close it up. So our second row will be increasing in all of the stitches. You should have 12 stitches by the end of the row. The increased stitch is 2 single crochets in 1 stitch. So let's go. Next row, row 3, we are going to do 1 single crochet and then 1 increase. Do this on repeat until you have finished the row. You should have 18 stitches by the end of the row. In row 4, you'll be doing 2 single crochets and then 1 increase, and then repeat until the row is completed. You shall have 24 stitches by the end of the row. This row, we are going to do 3 single crochets and then 1 increase. So 1, 2, 3, and then 2 in 1 stitch. By the end of the row, you should have 30 stitches. In row 6, we are doing 4 single crochets, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then increase, so 2 in 1 stitch. You should have 36 stitches by the end of the row.
Let's kick.
In the next row, row 7, we are going to do 5 single crochets and then 1 increase. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 2 in 1 stitch. You will have 42 stitches by the end of the row. For the next couple of rows, rows 8 to 17, we are going to do single crochets in all stitches for all of the rows. When doing multiple single crochet rows, count the first and last rows as well. So rows 8 to 17 are 10 single crochet rows. So after doing all of these single crochet rows, we are going to start decreasing. In row 18, we are doing 5 single crochets, then a decrease. When decreasing, you combine 2 stitches into 1. I like to do invisible decrease because it's cleaner looking than DC2 tog. By the end of the row, we should have 36 stitches. This row, row 19, we are going to do 4 single crochets and then 1 decrease. And we're going to repeat until the row is done. When the row is completed, there should be 30 stitches. In row 20, we are going to do 3 single crochets and then 1 invisible decrease. So 1, 2, 3, invisible decrease, and repeat that. You should have 24 stitches by the end of the row. The next row, row 21, we're going to do 2 single crochets and then invisible decrease. So 1, 2, invisible decrease, and repeat that. You will have 18 stitches when the row is completed. After row 21, we are going to stuff the body or head. There's not much to it, but I like to stuff it and then roll it in my hands to get that nice spherical shape we want for the body or head. In row 22, we are doing 1 single crochet and then 1 invisible decrease, and do that on repeat until the row is completed. When the row is done, you should have 12 stitches. row 23, the last row of the body or head. We are going to do the invisible decrease stitch in every stitch, so 6 decreases. By the end of the row, you should have 6 stitches. After the last row, we are going to pull up a loop and we are going to cut the yarn, but not too short because we need to sew it into the body. There you go, the body is done. To begin our eye section or limbs, we're going to start with a magic circle with 6 single crochets in it. And we're just going to pull that magic circle nice and tight, and we are going to start on our next row, row 2, which is going to be increasing in every stitch. So by the end of the row, you should have 12 stitches. In row 3, we are going to be doing 1 single crochet and then 1 invisible decrease. So by the end of the row, we should have 8 stitches. For rows 4 and 5, we are going to do single crochets in all of the stitches. This means that we are going to do single crochets for the next 2 rows. Now we are finished and we are going to fasten off. So we are going to do a slip stitch and then chain. Then we are going to pull up a loop and cut off the yarn. But we want enough yarn so then we can go and sew these parts onto the body. Now we need to make 6 of these because we have 2 for the eyes and 4 for the limbs. And for the ones with the eyes, we are going to need to add safety eyes onto them. So right here I have a pair of 8mm safety eyes, and we are going to put them on in between the rows of rows 4 and 5. The last part to make the frog is the belly. So I'm going to work in white wool, but you could also work in a pale yellow if you want to. And I'm going to start off with 6 single crochets in a magic circle. In row 2, which is this row, we are going to be doing increases in every single stitch. So by the end of the row, we should have 12 stitches. So in row 3, now we are going to do 1 single crochet and then 1 increase and repeat that until the row is completed. And when the row is completed, you should have 18 stitches. In row 4, we are going to be doing 2 single crochets and then 1 increase. So 1, 2, and then 2 in the 1 stitch. At the end of the row, you should have 24 stitches after repeating that over and over. So for row 5, we are going to be doing 3 single crochets, so 1, 2, 3, and then 1 increase, so 2 in the 1 stitch. Repeat this until the row is done. We should have 30 stitches by the end of the row. So after our last row, we are going to fasten off by slip stitching, then doing a chain, pulling up a loop, and we are going to get some scissors and cut off the piece of yarn, but not too short because that means we won't be able to sew it onto the body. And now we are done. After making all of the parts, we are going to sew them all together. I'm not the best sewer, but I do the best I can to go into the parts and out of the other part so you can join them. The eyes are going to be sewed on flat and in between rows 5 and 9, like this. We are going to sew the belly in between rows 6 and 16, and we're just going to look where it is positioned and hopefully it's in between both of the eyes. The arms are going to be sewed between rows 11 and 14, and the legs will be sewed along row 19. For the cheeks of the frogs, I'm going to cut out 2 love hearts to make it look extra cute. The last step about making this frog is to sew on the mouth. So I'm going to get my thread into my needle, and I'm going to insert my needle into where I want around the side of the mouth to be. Now I'm going to put the needle into where I want the other side of the mouth to be, which will create a line for the mouth. Now we are going to put our needle just in the middle but lower, and that's gonna make a little triangle between our little holes here. Now we're gonna put the needle underneath the little piece of thread that it has created a T, and if we pull tight on that, that's gonna create a cute little smile that we want. Now we're gonna put the needle right back into the body, and you are finished. And here is the finished product, the frog, and thank you for watching this video all the way to the end, and remember to like and subscribe.